All right, guys. Today. There's no introduction. There's none of that shit because I'm just fucking beyond pissed off. I'll try to clean up my language a little bit here for the algorithm or whatever the fuck, uh, whatever the heck. Oh, jolly good. Oh, 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 pussy feathers. Um, Everybody gets that reference. But okay, so let's give a personal update and then let's just talk big picture real quick. Okay, so personal update. Um, I'm poor. I'm extremely poor. My family, my two kids and I receive SNAP benefits. Well, don't receive them this month. Ha 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 ha. Um, and excuse me, we're not going to have time to edit anything because you don't have time when you're this like razor's edge to be living in your damn car. So anyhow, I got a job. Anybody that's watched a previous video knows that my job, because I asked for more money, because was justified in asking for more money. I'm not going to go into just keep rehashing things. Watch a previous video, previous videos where I've talked about this. But I got cut down to 5 hours a week, making $12 an hour. I locked down another job that may decide to, banish me to the shadow realm in a month, um, because of their a certain policy. But for now, I can work there, right? Um, so just uncertainty all over the place, right? But yeah, it's a merchandising job, and I make $10 an hour, and could be a situation though where like yesterday, where and I drive 20 minutes to another town to work in a store. Um, yeah, I don't work for the store, but I work, it's like for basically a vendor, Um, but it could be a situation where, just because I only had one actual day of training, and was thrown out there to the wolves, that, you know, I'm gone. Well, I'm basically working for like 6 hours, but I only get paid for 3.5 because it's by the numbers of how, how long these jobs are supposed to take, right? And that doesn't count in the time I have to spend dealing with the fact that the store has lost some of my materials that I need, or this, that, and the fourth, or having to, because I've not been fully trained on every particular type of job that this that we're required to do. Um, I kind of have a start and stop uh, situation where I try to begin something, but I realize that I don't actually know what I'm doing, so I can't do it, so I can't submit the work, and so I don't get paid for it. And so yeah, um, all fun and games, right? All fun and games. But hey, it's like I'm shooting from the hip. I'm trying to do my best. I'm out here also. I've made little cheap business cards. I've handed these things out to try to sell my labor. uh, because I'm a physically fit gentleman. And I'm small, but I'm strong, and I can handle a lot of stuff. I can do a lot of different physical type jobs. You need somebody to dig or rake or mow or lift or carry, move, all these kind of things. I could do that in my sleep, right? I could do it all day. I could go all day. I've got, even though I'm getting older, I'm in that type of shape. But these business cards have netted me nothing, no work thus far. And it's all, as an independent contractor, still shooting from the hip, still trying to think positive with everything going on. The SNAP benefits evaporating, had to go to a food bank. Still trying to, like, okay, I can figure this out. I can figure this out. I can figure this out. Um, I filed my taxes with H&R Block, and because you know because I have two dependents, I do get a a decent refund every year. I mean, most of the time, I mean, the last couple of years, because it's just been so difficult to for me to find work, or just consistent work. It's like most of the time the refund just goes towards. I mean, it goes towards bills. It goes towards bills and rent and everything like that. So it's not like, oh man, I got a couple $1,000s. I can go take a vacation. That ain't happening. So, but yeah, so H&R Block does a refund advance. I've applied and got this, a couple years now. The last couple years, so I was like, hey, it's not ideal, but I can get this advance. It could be up to $1,500. If I could get $1,500, that could take care of rent for 2 months for me, so I don't have to stress about that. So, and it'll be taken out of my refund, right? Which I'm going to get, so no problem. So I apply for the thing, and even though it's, you can sit there and criticize me for, leaning on this all you want. You don't live my life or share the breath I breathe. So I do the application and all this stuff, and for whatever reason, first time ever, even though it's guaranteed to be paid back because I file my taxes every freaking year with them, with H&R Block. It's been almost 10 years running I've filed with H&R Block, and the application gets denied. No relief there. So there goes my opportunity to pay rent, and I haven't had enough money to because of my one job just only working me 1 day a week, and everything else I've been trying has just completely failed. I have no rent money, right? I had to go and approach my my landlord with this information, and I like my landlord. I mean, she's a sweet old lady. And she's old. She's like born during World War II old. Like, pretty sure she was born in like 1939 or something. Like legit. And it's crazy because, man, she's like she's a spry she's a spry old lady. She still goes out and like does all of her yard work and stuff. It's pretty wild. But these are all positive things. But the negative thing about her is she is a conservative, politically speaking, and she's a bit out of touch with reality. She kind of is, and I just had a long conversation with her yesterday where it's like I present a watertight argument, for just the state of things here in the United States, economically, socially, and I'm like, this is what's going on. Now, luckily, she's not saying, okay, you better pay me in 30 days or you got to get the hell out of here. She kind of left it sort of ambiguous in the sense of, I'm going to give you a few weeks, but she didn't say she's going to kick me out. She didn't give me a specific date. So I am grateful for that. But just the fact that the conversation I had with her was it just didn't go anywhere, in the sense that, I know that I'm right. I know that morally, logically, I am correct, right? Like, I'm not a bad guy. I'm not out here trying to take advantage of people. I got kids to raise. I'm doing everything I can. And life is just screwing me. I mean, life here in the United States, everything is just stacked against me. And I'm not trying to victimize myself, man. I'm not a victim. I don't like to have that kind of mentality, right? I'm not a victim, like, gosh, just to give you an idea, like, in my mind, a victim really is somebody who's always going to pull that victim card, and they're not somebody that can stand up for themselves, and, press, they're going to fold in any situation. I'm not a victim, right? I mean, one of the stores for this job that I go to is like, it kind of has some, I mean, some questionable folk come in and out of there. It's not in the best of neighborhoods and things like that. And, I'm a little person, and always had to think about, like, could somebody see me as a mark? Could somebody see me as a mark? And I mean, there's been situations in my life where I've been viewed as a mark, and it's like, if you don't know what a mark is, I mean, it's basically somebody that can be targeted to be exploited, whether it's you know through like scamming somebody, or just straight up robbing somebody. You could be a mark at a poker table, and not be a weak player and be a mark, a target for the other players to exploit. That's what a mark is. Um, but I'm not a mark, right? Because I'm not a victim, and it's like I do stand up for myself, and I if somebody were to target me, right, that I, I have a bit of sometimes, I think you have to have some confidence in life. You have to have some confidence. I'm pretty confident that somebody tries to mess with me, unless they've come, unless they're bringing the heat, they're in for a bad day. They're in for a bad day. I'm no victim. I'm no mark, right? So I'm not trying to victimize myself here, guys. And that may seem like a stretch, but I think these things are analogous. But I, I'm doing everything I can, and just that conversation with my landlord was just a microcosm of just it's these kind of conversations. Like, I've had a conversation with somebody I know personally, and I think what I'm trying to get to too is like something I'm trying to kind of touch on. Another aspect I'd like to touch on, uh, with that interaction, and just with what's going on in general, is that people just don't give a shit about each other, right? They just don't care. Like, the other person I've had conversations with is actually my ex-partner, right? And we have 2 kids together. Not the 2 kids that live with me full time. I have 2 other kids, right? And that's a whole thing in itself, right? Of just that situation is pretty wild. But when she's having hard times, like, I do my best to help, and I'm like, I may not be able to help monetarily, but I'm there to, if you need to talk to somebody, it's like, if she needs to talk to somebody, like, she's needed help around, with uh, stuff over the summer with yard work and stuff. I wasn't there be able to be there all the time, because I mean, I had to take care of my own yard and my own, the 2 kids that live with me, and then also work and stuff too. But I mean, I mowed and trimmed her yard several times throughout the summer. And I mean, when she's expressed frustrations and things that aren't going so well with her, I'm always there to, like, I relate, and I try to show, this um, even though we're not together anymore in life. It's like, I'm still, I can still show the solidarity, like, I I've got your back, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm despite it, like, regardless of anything, like, of all my faults, I'm extremely loyal to people, and I'm also, and this is like, and this could be some sort of, because one thing we talk about on this channel a lot is self-awareness, and this could be just me being extremely self-aware, that maybe not all of it, of the fact that I'm always ready to have somebody's back, and no matter what, it might not just be because I'm such a nice person, but it might just because it's some sort of ego thing, or it might be something that, like, I don't know. I don't know, but strip all that kind of thing away, and the fact of the matter is, I'm still there, right? I still got your back. The conversation I've had with her, though, about my struggles, they always fall on deaf ears. She'll either just flat out ignore it, or she'll almost like shame me, right, for my struggles. Something I would never do. I would never do, right? Because I understand, like, I understand how difficult it is, and I understand all the factors at play here. And I mean, is that what it is? Like, when it comes to, like with my landlord, she didn't straight up say, okay, you're fucked. and get the fuck out. But the the feedback I was getting from her was very. I mean, she doesn't seem to acknowledge the difficulties that that the difficulties in the country. Like, and facts don't matter with her. Like I told her how, like she knows that we receive SNAP benefits here. And I was like, this has never happened where SNAP has lapsed. It's never happened. She's like, no, that's not true. And I'm like, but it is true. But it is true, right? But is that what it is though? Is it ignorance? Is it ignorance? Is it Are people fueled, just their minds have just been filled by so much propaganda and their perceptions have been so warped that they just don't understand things. They don't understand the dynamics of any given situation, and thus, you know, what you get from them is just this apathy. I don't know, I don't know, but that's something I want to just talk about really quickly. I've already gone on for 16 minutes here, and my videos are pretty much going to always be unedited for the most part because I just don't have time. I have to somehow, I had to somehow go and do this work for this job. I'm also talking to another company about another job. I might be working 3 or 4 different jobs. I mean, I'm doing everything I can, man. I'm doing everything I can to hold down the fort here. But it's like I feel so isolated and so alone, and that fucking sucks, dude. It's like I'm so hard-headed, and I'm so like I feel like I have a warrior spirit, and you can criticize that too if you want and say, listen to this deluded maniac. But I think I do, right? Because I've been through some shit, and it's not like there's people that in life that have had far worse experiences than me, but I've been through some shit, man, and I just keep coming back. I keep coming back. I don't ever fully die, I don't fully fall down and stay down. I just keep coming back, and I keep coming back, and I keep coming back, and that's what I'm trying to do right now, man. But listen, like with my situation, and there's so many other people out there, people who are receiving SNAP benefits, people who are, their jobs don't pay enough to, just barely keep them a roof over their head, or just barely, just keeps them off the street. Who are struggling to find work, who can't relate with other people because of, they find themselves surrounded by those that are, as we've been talking about, just completely detached, from reality, from what's actually going on, that lack the knowledge and the perspectives to see the various dynamics at work. Like, how can we sit here knowing what's going on, right? Like, I'm not the first or only person to be talking about this, but I don't see a future here, man. I don't see a future. Like, I don't see things getting better. I think about all the different problems in the world. I mean, if we talk specifically about just this country, the United States, like there are so many. Like, I don't know if we can ever achieve some kind of equal society, some kind of society that benefits everyone, some kind of civilization where we could really be proud of. If an alien species were to descend upon our planet, and we could meet them with pride and say, hey, this is the this is the human species, this is what we do, this is what we've done, and feel proud of what we've accomplished as a species. Like, we're just killing each other, man. Literally and figuratively every day. And I don't know. I don't know. This is pretty depressing today, but I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling like I'm just so I'm pushing the edge here, man. Because I'm trying to take care of my kids, and I'm trying to take care of myself as well. And everything is just so difficult. It's so difficult, and life, maybe it's not meant to be easy or whatever, but goddamn, where's the relief? Why do people? There's a police officer way back. I live in a place where like there's a dirt road like beyond this horse field that's actually owned by my landlord, and there was a police officer going down that little dirt road. It's not very common to see something like that. I don't know what's going on, but maybe they're coming to get me. I'm probably on some sort of list somewhere of all the anti-capitalist things that have come out of my mouth and I've put out on the internet, and uh, spoken with people via text messages and emails and calls and everything else. I'm probably on the list. They're coming for me, boys. Better watch out. Got caffeine, got some nicotine, But I don't know, man. Life is just how can we? What I was going to say is how can everyone's talking about the Great Gatsby party, Trump and his cronies and the billionaire oligarchs and shit threw that Halloween party they threw, and we're sitting there letting this kind of thing happen. We the workers are being robbed blind by the billionaires. There's so much uncertainty, and then for us workers out here, so many of our comrades, or our would-be comrades, are blinded. They're blinded. They don't understand what's really going on here, and many of them side with the billionaires, with the elite, with the wealthy, and they view who should be their allies as enemies, right? I don't know the path forward. I do know that I'm going to post this video. Man, it's going to be unedited again because I'm just going to post it on here as soon as I walk inside. I no longer, I don't know. Everything's such a mess right now. I'm going to try my best to stay positive. The one thing, other than my kids, because my kids are the biggest thing. And what bothers me is I'm always so stressed out that I don't feel like I appreciate my kids, or I show them the appreciation that they deserve. They know I love them, and there's nothing in this world greater than my kids. I would die 1,000 times over for them. I love them. I love them. If there's no future for me in this existence, my future is them. Like it's like they have the ability, they have the capability of doing the things that I never could do, and I want them to do those things. I want them to do something that I've definitely never have been able to do, and that's to live a good life, to really enjoy life. And so, yeah, I'm a little emotional right now, so you have to excuse that. It's just been rough. But other than them, there's not really, right now, the one thing just specifically for me that that I have going for me and I feel good about, and can never be taken away from me. Will never be taken away from me, no matter how hard it gets, and is my physical health, right? Is my physical fitness. Anybody that's going through things right now, if you don't have a physical, exercise routine down, establish one. Man, I the fact that I can do almost anything physically that I want to do, makes me proud. Makes me proud. Um, but it's something that I know that, you know, when I'm lifting weights, when I'm working on the, working on the heavy bag, and I'm developing techniques and I'm seeing improvements, man, there's that, what that does to one's psyche, the positive things is it's hard to measure, it's hard to equal. Um, but I've been pretty down and out in this, and um, but I don't know, guys. I mean, what can we do? What can we do? How can we get people to see what's really going on here? How can we get people to understand? And again, I'm not a victim. I'm doing everything I can out here, man. Like, it's like there's so many things I would do to make sure my kids are taken care of. Talking about the physical fitness and stuff. I've said this before. I would fight. I'm 36 years old, and I've never had a professional or even amateur fight in my life. I've had a couple street fights. Um, the last one that was a fair fight, I got smashed, but that was way before I started working out and stuff. And I honestly, I didn't even think that me and old boy were going to fight. I thought we were going to talk it out, and I let my guard down, and yeah, it didn't end too well for me. But the dude did break his hand though, and I didn't have any lasting damage. That was pretty interesting. Got a hard head, man. Got a hard head. But shout out to Lance out there. If Lance ever sees this video, bro, Lance, is an interesting dude. But anyway, man, no, like, yeah, how many people out there would actually, they get paid? Well, I don't think a lot of people have it in them. But pay me and I'll go out there and get my ass beat. I'll fight. I'll, dude, I'll fight. I actually think I could win some, but that's like, maybe again that's false confidence there. I put too much. I got too much confidence. I don't know, man. I got a pretty sweet spinning back kick though. If I land it right, if I and I don't know. I got some good head movement and a nice right hook. A pretty sweet right hook. But anyway, uh, I don't know, guys. What do we do? I, I think the only way forward, really, and I've said this before and I've said it recently, is if we, the workers, stand up and unite and actually show solidarity, and we need a banner to march under, and I truly believe that if we have a shot here, it's under the banner of communism. And if we actually were to try and put forth a, that was our actual goal, was to not just seize power, i.e. Joseph Stalin style here, but to strive for a communist society, a true communist society. I think that that's where we stand a chance. But how do we get through to people? How do we get people to shake off all the decades of propaganda, capitalistic propaganda? How do we get people just to, it's cliche these days and people use it for so many different contexts, but how do we get people to wake up, man? This is a nightmare. It's a nightmare, bro. But all right, I've rambled on and ranted on enough today. I'm trying to hold my head high and trying to have some confidence. Everything's just so chaotic right now, though, and my whole life is just, I'm just not sure what to do. Every step I take seems like there's just pitfalls everywhere. It's just pitfalls everywhere, and I don't know. But As always, this is the Skyway Corsair. You've been watching Staring Beyond the Wall, and today that's what we are doing every day, staring beyond the wall, trying to see things for what they really are. But all right, that's enough. If you have made it to this 30-minute mark, please like and subscribe. We could definitely use the support out here. But it's not just about that. It's not about just about the monetary gain or gaining some sort of recognition. It's about community. It's about spreading a message. It's about solidarity, uniting, and actually making a change in the world, because that is what we need, right? We cannot continue to live at the bottom while that very small few at the top continues to hoard everything for themselves. But, well, I don't know. But again, I do appreciate it. Love you all. Peace.